My name is Sarah Mitchell. I am 36 years old. I'm sitting in my living room in Cedar Falls, Iowa, watching the late afternoon sunlight stretch across the wooden floor my grandfather helped me refinish years ago. The house is quiet now. Too quiet. But there was a time when this same house echoed with voices, laughter, and eventually, betrayal. People often think inheritance stories are about money. They're not. They're about who is loved, who is trusted, and who is willing to destroy a family for control. And in my family, it all came down to one hidden page no one knew existed. The man who raised me. My grandfather's name was Henry Mitchell. To the world, he was a retired school principal, quiet, disciplined, and fair. To me, he was the man who raised me when my parents were too busy chasing careers and appearances to notice their youngest daughter slipping through the cracks. I spent most of my childhood in his house. He taught me how to balance a checkbook before I learned algebra. He taught me that silence could be powerful and patience could be sharper than anger. He believed in preparation, not confrontation. And most importantly, he believed that character mattered more than blood. That belief would eventually tear our family apart. My sister, the golden child. My older sister, Melissa Mitchell, was everything I was. Confident, loud, charming when she wanted to be. She knew how to walk into a room and make people believe she belonged at the center of it. My parents adored her. Teachers praised her. Relatives bragged about her. And growing up, I learned early that I would always be second place. Quiet Sarah, the responsible one, the background child. Melissa moved out early, married well, and learned how to use people without ever seeming guilty. Grandpa saw it, but no one listened to him. The will everyone assumed they understood. When Grandpa Henry turned 80, the family started hovering. Visits increased, phone calls became frequent, gifts appeared that no one had ever bothered with before. I watched it all from the sidelines, uncomfortable but unsurprised. Melissa, suddenly, became the most attentive granddaughter in the world. She handled paperwork, drove him to appointments, offered to help with his finances. And when Grandpa's health began to decline, Melissa took control of everything. She said it was for his own good. The rest of the family believed her. I didn't. The day Grandpa warned me. 2 years before he passed, Grandpa called me into his study. He closed the door, locked it, and looked at me with a seriousness I had never seen before. "Sarah," he said, "when I'm gone, things are going to get ugly." I tried to laugh it off. He didn't smile. "Your sister thinks she knows everything," he continued, "but she's forgotten one thing." "What's that?" I asked. He tapped his desk once, slowly. "I always prepare for betrayal. The hidden pay." That was the first time he mentioned it. Not a document. Not a clause. A page. He didn't explain further. He didn't need to. Grandpa Henry believed that the right people would understand when the time came. And when he passed away peacefully in his sleep at 84, the family gathered, not to mourn, but to divide. Melissa arrived dressed in black designer clothes, already confident. She smiled at me like she had already won. She thought the will was settled. She thought the story was over. She was wrong. The lawyer's office. The lawyer's name was Thomas Reynolds, a calm man, old school, the kind who read every word carefully. Melissa sat front and center. My parents sat beside her. I sat in the back, hands folded, heart steady. Because I remembered Grandpa's words. I always prepare for betrayal. When the lawyer finished reading the will, Melissa smiled. Everything was going exactly how she expected. Then Mr. Reynolds paused, cleared his throat, and said, "There is one final page that must be read aloud." The room went silent. Melissa's smile faded. And in that moment, I knew. Whatever Grandpa had planned, it was finally time. The silence in the lawyer's office felt heavier than grief. My sister Melissa shifted in her chair, her crossed legs uncrossing for the first time since she'd arrived. Her fingers tightened around the leather strap of her purse. It was subtle, but I noticed. I always noticed when Melissa felt threatened. Thomas Reynolds adjusted his glasses and looked around the room, making sure everyone was listening. His eyes lingered on Melissa just a second longer than necessary. "This final page," he said slowly, "was sealed separately at your grandfather's request." Melissa let out a short laugh, too loud, too quick. "I'm sure it's nothing important," she said. "Probably just a note or something sentimental." No one laughed with her. The first crack. Mr. Reynolds opened a thin manila envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Not typed. Handwritten. In Grandpa Henry's unmistakable cursive. Melissa leaned forward. I leaned back. Because I already knew, this page wasn't for comfort. It was for truth. Grandpa's voice from beyond. Mr. Reynolds began to read. "If you are hearing this page read aloud, then my suspicions were correct." Melissa's face froze. The lawyer continued. "This page exists because I no longer trust that my intentions will be honored once I am gone." My mother's eyes widened. My father cleared his throat, suddenly uncomfortable. Melissa's jaw tightened. "A will within a will." Mr. Reynolds paused, then explained. "Your grandfather amended his estate plan in a very specific way," he said. "The primary document outlines the expected distributions. This page activates conditions." "Conditions?" Melissa snapped. "What conditions?" Mr. Reynolds raised a hand calmly. "Please allow me to finish." "The test no one knew about." He resumed reading. "Before any inheritance is finalized, I instructed my attorney to review all financial actions taken on my behalf during the last 5 years of my life." Melissa shot upright. "That's ridiculous," she said. "I was helping him." Mr. Reynolds nodded. "And that assistance was documented." He reached into another folder. Receipts, transfers, signed authorizations, and withdrawals. The room felt smaller with every paper he laid on the table. "The money that moved." Mr. Reynolds spoke carefully. "Over the last 3 years, substantial sums were transferred from your grandfather's accounts into accounts controlled by Melissa Mitchell." My mother gasped softly. "That was approved," Melissa said quickly. "Grandpa told me to manage things." Mr. Reynolds didn't argue. He simply turned another page. The clause that changed everything. "If any family member is found to have exploited my trust for personal gain prior to my death, they are to be immediately disqualified from inheritance." Melissa stood up. "That's insane," she said, her voice shaking. "You're twisting this." But Grandpa's handwriting continued, steady, firm. "I do not reward entitlement. I reward integrity." I felt my chest tighten. Because those were the exact words Grandpa used to say to me as a child. The moment Melissa realized. Mr. Reynolds looked directly at my sister. "Melissa," he said calmly, "the hidden page names you specifically." Her confidence collapsed in real time. She wasn't angry anymore. She was afraid. The one person Grandpa trusted. Mr. Reynolds turned toward me. "Sarah Mitchell," he said. I looked up. "Your grandfather appointed you as the conditional beneficiary and executor, pending review." The room exploded. My parents protested. Melissa laughed hysterically. "That's a joke," she said. "She's always been the quiet one, the weak one." I met her eyes. For the first time in my life, I didn't look away. Grandpa's final lesson. Mr. Reynolds read the final paragraph. Sarah listened when others spoke over me. She stayed when others took. "If you are angry now, ask yourself why." Silence returned. But this time, it was different. It wasn't empty. It was final. The door that slammed shut. Melissa grabbed her purse and stormed out. My parents followed, not knowing who to defend. I stayed seated, because I finally understood. Grandpa hadn't written this will to punish. He wrote it to reveal. And the worst part, the hidden page wasn't done yet. My sister stole Grandpa's will until the lawyer read the hidden page aloud. Part 3. The investigation didn't start with police. It started with paperwork. Quiet, methodical, unforgiving. That's how Grandpa planned it. The audit Grandpa predicted. 2 weeks after the will reading, I received a call from Mr. Reynolds. "Sarah," he said gently, "your grandfather anticipated resistance." I wasn't surprised. Grandpa Henry never trusted loud confidence. He trusted patterns. And, I asked, and he ordered a full forensic audit of every account he ever touched. My stomach tightened. Not because I was afraid. Because I knew Melissa was. Melissa's world begins to shrink. Melissa stopped calling. Then she stopped posting online. No luxury brunch photos. No weekend getaways. No smiling selfies. The first letter arrived 3 days later. A certified notice. Frozen accounts. Pending review. Grandpa's signature at the bottom, dated 2 years before his death. He knew. He always knew. The hidden page had teeth. Mr. Reynolds invited us back into his office. Just me. Just Melissa. No parents this time. Melissa looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. No makeup, no confidence, no control. She wouldn't meet my eyes. The numbers didn't lie. Mr. Reynolds laid it out calmly. Unauthorized withdrawals. Personal expenses masked as care costs. Property taxes paid from Grandpa's accounts on a condo Grandpa never lived in. Melissa's condo. "This is a misunderstanding," she whispered. But even she didn't believe it. Grandpa's final safeguard. Mr. Reynolds turned to the last document. "The hidden page," he said, "activated a trust reversal." Melissa looked up, panicked. "What does that mean?" she asked. "It means," he replied, "everything you took returns to the estate." Her breath caught. "And," he added, "you receive nothing." The breakdown. Melissa cried then. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. The way people cry when they realize there's no exit left. "I deserved it," she whispered. "I was there, I handled everything." I finally spoke. "You handled the money," I said calmly. "I handled him." She flinched. Why Grandpa chose me. Later that day, Mr. Reynolds handed me a sealed envelope. "This," he said, "is for you alone." Inside was a letter. Grandpa's handwriting. "Sarah, if you are reading this, then the noise finally quieted. I didn't choose you because you were perfect. I chose you because you never tried to own me. You treated me like a person, not a prize." Tears blurred the ink. The real inheritance. The estate wasn't just money. It was responsibility. The hotel chain Grandpa built. The scholarships he quietly funded. The nursing home he donated to anonymously. I became the executor. Not the owner. The guardian. What happened to Melissa? Melissa contested the will. She lost. She appealed. She lost again. The court ordered restitution. Her condo sold. Her accounts emptied. Not out of revenge. Out of correction. She moved out of state. We haven't spoken since. My parents' silence. My parents apologized. In pieces. In excuses. In half-words. I accepted their silence instead. Because Grandpa taught me something important. Closure doesn't always sound like forgiveness. Sometimes it sounds like peace. The last page that was never read aloud. 1 year later, I visited Grandpa's grave. I brought the letter. and read the final line again. Some people steal because they are empty. Some inherit because they are steady. I leave my legacy to the one who waited. The calm ending. The lawyer's office is quiet now. The estate settled. The truth exposed. No shouting. No revenge. Just balance. Grandpa didn't punish my sister. He revealed her. And in doing so, he gave me something far greater than money. He gave me peace.